Hey everyone, this is Fahad Syed from Pixel Icons, and welcome back to Dark Souls. You might be wondering why we spent so much time customizing our character's appearance if she was just going to end up looking like Brahmin meat. She looks like a zombie. We'll get to that a little bit later. For now, let's talk about the game's beginning cutscene. If you remember back to an episode ago, in the beginning of the world, things were neither dead or alive. The world was grey and ruled by arch trees and dragons. Then, a fire was introduced to the world. With that fire came disparity. Things could be lit, things could be in the shadow, things could be alive, or things could be dead. 4 powerful beings rose up to collect souls. 3 of them waged war on the dragons and eventually took over the world, bringing in the Age of Fire. And after the Age of Fire, things started to go bad. The flames started to fade, the age started to wane, and people started to appear, bearing the accursed dark sign. They threw our character into this jail cell in the Northern Undead Asylum, where we await the end of the world. But someone, a knight, tossed down a body through that open window, that atrium, down into our cell. I'm going to assume that as a player, we have enough game literacy to be able to turn the camera around and move around. When we walk up to this corpse, it is told to us that we can press A to pillage it. We get the dungeon cell key. Now, if we look around in our cell, we've got some hay to sleep in, some bugs, this corpse here. Our shackles have long come off, and probably a bucket to shit in. What's interesting to note is this entire place looks like it is completely in ruin. It hasn't been explicitly told to us yet, but if we press start, we can go to a menu. And if you notice, this menu is displayed concurrently with the game in real time. It doesn't actually pause the game. And no matter what we do, no matter where we go, so long as we don't quit the game isn't actually paused. So before we head out into the world, why don't we go ahead and take a look at a couple things. If we press start, we can navigate around in the menu using the bumpers, enter them using A, and close out of them using B. Let's see what items we have in our inventory. So in our inventory, we've got, got a couple different categories here. It looks like we've got whatever that thing is, whatever these things are, key, maybe key items or keys, scrolls, weapons, arrows, armor, and rings. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got. The Black Separation Crystal. Banish Phantom, return home. This black crystal, long a symbol of farewell, is granted to banish undead. The crystal sends phantoms back to their homes, or sends you back to yours. Beware of fickle use of this item if you intend to nurture relationships. So if we toggle display, we get a quick description. All this flavor text. So we were banished, huh? What about this? The dark sign. The dark sign signifies an accursed undead. So, in the beginning cutscene, people were appearing all over with this accursed dark sign. And I guess we've been banished to this place because we have the dark sign. Those branded with it are reborn after death, but will one day lose their mind and go hollow. So, we're constantly reincarnated? Or something? We're reborn after we die, but we're going to lose our mind and go hollow. Death triggers the dark sign, which returns its bearer to the last bonfire rested at, but at the cost of all humanity and souls. I don't know what they mean by humanity and souls. There was, like, twin humanity? Like the humanity stat? Well, we have 0 right now. And we have 0 souls, so I guess we'll just see later on what that means. The Dungeon Cell Key, open dungeon of Undead Asylum in the north. Key to the dungeon of the Undead Asylum to the north. It's interesting that they explicitly say to the north. It could imply that there's other undead asylums. A mysterious knight, without saying a word, shoved a corpse down into the cell, and on its person was this key. Who was this knight, and what was his purpose? There may be no answers, but one must still forge ahead. it's interesting that so far, the descriptions of what we have, we don't know who's actually giving us these descriptions. Is this a narrator? Is this an omniscient narrator? Is this the character? I'm going to stick with the idea that this is an omniscient narrator, and this is the woman in the original cutscene, based off of some items we'll get later. But we don't know any better for now, so let's just decide that later. Straight sword hilt. The hilt of a lost sword was found discarded in the Undead Asylum, only slightly better than one's bare hands and not recommended for extensive use. Be certain to find a replacement quickly. And then we've got the standard helm and the hard leather set. A sturdy helm made of iron, very common type of protective gear. It is wise to wear a sturdy form of head protection against arrows and other physical threats. Armor made of thick leather, very type... Okay, right. So just telling us what our armor's like. So let's go ahead and see if we can get out of the key. Let's go ahead and see if we can get out of the cell using the key we found. Wouldn't you know? Imagine if we couldn't, if this was just the end of the game right here. Alright, so we walk out of here. Let's have a look around. Torches lit. Vaulted ceilings. There's other people in the cells. We saw, in the beginning cutscene, this guy was taking his arm out, and don't really know what he's doing right now. Looks like he's just slamming his head and his arms to his cell. What's this? Read message. So there's messages in this game. Right stick, camera controls. So if we didn't know what to do, how to even move the camera, we would start here, we'd pick up the item, we'd walk over to here, and the camera would rotate for us. I didn't actually even move the camera. I just pressed A, walked here, and the camera rotated for us. So that's interesting. It's cool to see that little icon of a knight there. I wonder... Actually, that knight kind of looks like the guy who dropped the body down the cell. That's interesting. So, this place is in shambles. All these people look pretty desolate, but some of these others look like they actually got out. There's a dead rat on the ground there. Let's read this message. We can attack with RB. That's pretty cool. If we wanted to, we could attack this guy. But it doesn't seem to be bothering us so far. What's that clomping around? Oh crap, that thing is big. Is that a pile of skulls? Maybe this guy tried to escape before and got thrown up through these bars. It's interesting that his head is covered. RT strong attack. So we have a light attack and a strong attack. Hey, when I hit this thing, it took away more stamina. Well, I guess we wouldn't really know it's stamina, but it took away more from that green bar. Don't know what that guy's doing. Left stick plus hold B to dash. Okay, so we can kind of sprint. Looks like it is using up our stamina. Right stick, target lock and release. Okay, look at that. So, a lot of design goes into games, right? They put you in this linear corridor because as you're walking through this corridor, it's very hard to miss these messages, right? You could obviously just run past them if you think you know the game already, or if you actually do. They put enemies here who are non-hostile that allow you to test out your moves. And the important thing about this corridor is, since it's linear, it's very hard to miss. You can very easily walk up to an enemy and attack and hit, right? Then when you get into this room, when you finally learn about combat locking, to lock on, you can pretty much lock on to this enemy from anywhere on this platform. So we can run down here and, oh, it looks a little bit wet. This guy's taking a bath. You notice his eyes are red. We can sort of zoom in a bit more, closer to his face. His eyes are red. He looks like meat, like just like us. And if we run back to these guys, I want to run to a very specific guy, because I'm wondering if I can actually show it off here. Maybe this guy. He's got this weird marking on his chest there, you see? And if we were to take off our armor, you can see that we kind of have it too, although our bra is covering it. Let's go put our armor back on, though. My squeaky chair. Bear it no mind. So we run through here and we find a ladder. We can, of course, climb up it. In the future Souls games, you can actually fast climb up ladders, but you can't in Dark Souls 1. If you're anything like me, you can kind of tell which paths a given game will try to funnel you down, given light placement and other techniques of composition that try to guide your eye to a specific location, like these torches. So you'll walk around here. Given that this is the first area of the game, they try to limit and cut off paths that you could possibly take to help guide you in case you really are very new and get lost. A lot of people try to pass off this notion that if you never played a video game before, or if you're very new to video games, Dark Souls might not be the best game for you. And while that might be because of difficulty, you can certainly learn to play video games if your first one is Dark Souls. So let's read a message. Rest at bonfire. Recover HP. Is this a bonfire? It's not even on fire. Oh, we've got to light it, and there's a sword in there. Bonfire lit. Let's go ahead and take a rest. And when we do, this fog comes out. Well, we were at full HP, so we'll go ahead and leave. Let's search around this area. This whole game is almost like an exercise in tribology, because we're going to be walking around a lot of destroyed areas. Considering the fact that we were never given an explicit time of when we woke up, and the fact that we've been awaiting the end of the world, we can probably assume that a significant amount of time has passed since we were probably locked up, or since the start of the Age of Fire. Got these nice little statues here. Oh, don't really know exactly what they're for. God damn it. Got little pig heads. They're almost like gargoyles or grotesques to watch over this place. We're going to open these heavy wooden looking doors. It leads us to this area. Now if we look up, we walk a little bit further back, we can actually see that there's something waiting for us. And that stomping noise we're hearing seems to be coming directly below us, and that thing looks actually very familiar to that thing. I have a feeling this isn't going to be good. Definitely not. So we could try fighting this thing, but it probably won't work out so well for us. Let's try hitting it. Yeah, we do 2 damage. That didn't even move the health bar. So what can we do? Well, let's try running around this thing. Maybe that'll help. There's a message here. Get away! So I guess that's what we've got to do. Now, where do we get away to is the thing. Ah, over here. Now, I was employing some advanced techniques there. You'll see them come up in the messages pretty soon. And by advanced, I mean very basic, but advanced for what we know so far. Let's light this bonfire. So if we took damage in that fight, we could sit and rest here. All would be good, and we did take a little bit, so we will do that. This looks like a symmetrical layout to that other bath we saw. And there's a message here. Get your shield. So we know that those little puffs of white smoke, we can go and pick them up. Looks like an arrow is being fired by that guy over there. And these arrows move pretty slow, slow enough for you to get out of the way of them. So there's an item there. Now, if this was a completely new player, they might have no idea how to equip this item. So let's walk down here. These messages here will tell you how to equip items. And how to block. I'm probably going to be playing through this game without using the shield, but this is how you block. So, since I'm not going to be playing with a shield, I will take that off. There's another cell across from us. And as we get close, this guy runs away. It's nice to see that he holds his arrows in his other hand since he doesn't have a quiver. It's a nice little touch. And we've got the longsword. So, since we know how to equip stuff, we'll just take the initiative and put this on. Let's see if this has anything special. Widely used standard straight sword, but only matched in ubiquity by the short sword. And we also get some description for the heater shield, which lets us know some stuff about it. The shield is easy to use and is one of the smaller shields that offers 100% physical damage reduction. So there's a message here too. What does that say? Change weapons or toggle items. So if we had any items, we could toggle them here. And we could do that. This idiot came back to us, and since he's hurting us, we will hurt him. There we go, we took care of that. Let's traverse this white light. So where are we? It looks like we're directly above that bonfire. In fact, we are. B to backstep, and left stick plus direction to roll. We actually can't roll through this little gap here. But rolling seems to be pretty cool. Hey, there's a guy in there. Looks a lot like that knight who tossed that body down for us. Before we check that out, why don't we run over here? So when we come over here, we see the staircase is destroyed, and we can't quite get up. Right? There's an item there, though, so we know we have to be able to get up there somehow. Even if we tried employing a technique that the player might not explicitly know about yet, like jumping, we still can't get up there. And if we try running back here, it's just a dead end. So, we'll ignore this place for now. It gives you a vibe that you're perhaps going to come back to here later on, maybe at the end of the level, and figure out how to get up there. So, we just walked around here, and we noticed that if we walk up to here, this place looks like it was destroyed by rocks, and we can't actually open this door here. But there's no door over here. So how did he get in there? And how do we get in there? This wall looks pretty weak. Could we break it? Doesn't seem so. I guess we'll just go this way. But if you look up there, you can actually see a ball up there. Let's skirt up here. Look at that. So, if a player is careful enough, they can actually avoid these traps by carefully looking at where they're going and exploring and looking around the environment. Did you push that trap? Oh, he hit us. That's not very good. Let's go in here now that he's opened a path for us. So as we can see, the ball crashed through here, hit this, and bounced into that corner there. There's our friend. This is exactly what I mean by composition. There's this nice little hole up there with this light. So we see our friend here. We see the light. We follow it up, and we see this hole. Now, we know he was trying to free people. Obviously, he was giving them keys. So maybe he was pushing a body down here. We don't actually see a body. But maybe he was doing something along the lines of that and fell through. And was stuck. And we can talk to him.
Oh, you. You're no hollow. Thank goodness. I'm done for, I'm afraid. I'll die soon, then lose my sanity. I wish to ask something of you. You and I are both undead. Hear me out, will you? Regrettably, I have failed in my mission, but perhaps you can keep the torch lit. There is an old saying in my family. Thou who art undead art chosen. In thine exodus from the Undead Asylum, maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know. Well, now you know. And I can die with hope in my heart. Oh, one more thing. Here, take this. An Estus flask. An undead favorite. Oh, and this. Now I must bid farewell. I would hate to harm you after death. So go now, and thank you.
That's pretty interesting. When we walked in here, he said, "You wear no hollow, are you?" So we're not zombies. Even though we look like those other guys, there's something that's separating us from them. Because I'm assuming they're hollows. So we walk in here, we see that he's at his end here, basically. He's going to die. And he says that there's this old saying in his family. In thou who are undead art chosen. In thine exodus from the undead asylum maketh pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords. Once thou ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know. And now you know. So, I guess he just wants us to go there and ring the bell of awakening. He gave us an item to do this called an Estus flask, and he says it's his undead favorite, which I guess implies that he's undead as well. Or maybe he just knows in advance. But he might be undead because he said he would hate to harm us after death. He says he'll die soon and then lose his sanity. What's interesting is, even though he has this item, he could potentially just use it himself to heal himself, but it doesn't seem like he's expressing that concern. It's like he came here just for the purpose of breaking us out. Let's see if he has anything else to say.
Now I must bid farewell. I would hate to harm you after death. So go now, and thank you.
Doesn't seem so. Rest at bonfire, replenish Estus flask. This message appears right after we get these flasks. And there's one here too. X to use an item. So we did get hit a little bit. Why don't we go ahead and use this, and we'll see that it heals us. If we look at the description, the undead treasure these dull green flasks. Fill with Estus at bonfire, fills HP. The Estus flasks are linked to the fire keepers. The dark tales also make a reference. An emerald flask from the keeper's soul. She lives to protect the flame and dies to protect it further. What the hell is this game on about? We've also got the Undead Asylum Floor 2 East Key. Key to the iron bars on the east side of the second floor of the Northern Undead Asylum. The Undead Asylum is a giant undead prison segmented by countless iron bars. Even if an undead were to escape from a cell, passage to the outside world would not be gained easily. I guess that's it. Thank you, Nameless Knight. Looks like he died. Unlike the others, his body actually disappeared. We got some souls when he died, too. Interesting. Well, he was a good guy, so we'll carry out his last wish. And if we run down here, we can open this door. It opens from this side, and we can rest at this bonfire. Let's go ahead and rest. And continue on. So we run up these stairs and what? This guy's back? I guess resting at bonfires replaces enemies. Or respawns enemies. That's gonna be annoying, right? We'll deal with it. So we run up here and we use the key. More messages. So this tells us about dual wielding, or not dual wielding, double handing. And this tells us about some more advanced maneuvers. We can do the kick. Well, let's try that again. We can do the kick, and we can do the jump attack. And if we tap Y, we can two-hand our weapon, which allows us to... Oh! Which allows us to do more damage. But now we can't block. But I'm not blocking anyways because I don't have a shield. Resting at bonfire revives enemies. It does indeed. So let's check out our moveset with this weapon. One-handed, we can do a 3-hit combo, or it looks like some sort of like 3-hit combo with the sword. We can keep swinging actually, 4 hits. We can just keep going with that. Repeat that combo indefinitely. What about our heavy attacks? Looks like a thrust. And if we do a second attack with our heavy attack, it's an upward strike. What if we try it 3 times? Doesn't look like we can. Well, let's try two-handed. So with this we have vertical strikes, unlike horizontal strikes. And with this we have horizontal slashes, which looks like we can just indefinitely keep doing. And also, what if we try rolling and attacking? So if we roll and we light attack, we do a thrust two-handed, which was our R2, or our heavy attack with one-handed. And if we roll and we do a light attack with our one-handed weapon, we do a vertical attack, which is our standard attack for a two-handed weapon. So it seems like when we switch to two-handed, at least with the straight sword types, and we do a rolling attack, we gain the move that we were missing. Because right now we can't actually do a thrusting attack. We can only do a vertical and a horizontal. And vice versa. So when we have one-handed, we can do a horizontal and a thrust, but we can't do a vertical unless we roll. So by adding rolling attacks, they pretty much expand the set of moves you can do with a given weapon in each stance, which is pretty cool. Let's come over to here. And another bow asshole. While we're waiting for him, let's have a look around the environment. Pretty snowy, pretty high up. I imagine this place was probably once indoors, given these vaulted ceilings that are now broken. Probably couldn't see all this. And there's an area over there. It looks like the land to the sides fell off, but there's a pathway that leads up there. I wonder if we can go there later. Have you stopped firing? Nope. Well, we can just roll past you and swing twice. RB while falling. Plunging attack. So I guess we have to be falling for that to do that. What about this? RB behind an enemy. Critical hit. LT to parry. Repel an attack. After parrying, RB to riposte. Let's try parrying on this guy. Look at that. So that's the riposte. This guy here is, I'm pretty sure he's programmed to only do the charging attack for the first attack. And, let me try that. So he runs forward and he'll do like a charging attack. And the charging attack is actually extremely easy to parry because you can watch the animation go back. And then as it's coming forward, swat it away and riposte. He also looks a bit tougher than the other guys. He's got, he actually had a shield and he has a suit of armor on. Now that we've dealt with him, let's go through this white wall here of light. And if we look down, there's that demon that attacked us. Let's give him some payback with a plunging attack. And look at how much damage that did. This is for trying to kill us at the beginning of the game. And he's our first boss fight of this entire game. That's interesting. We can take a notice of the fact that when he does his moves, they're pretty slow, pretty easy to see what's going on. pretty easy to get out of the way. And the most effective strategy for dealing with him is actually just to strafe around him and get to his side here and just attack him here. And once he dies, we can see his soul is peering through the slashes in his flesh. He falls to the ground and explodes into souls, and we collect them. And we get Big Pilgrim's Key and Humanity, as well as 2,000 souls. That's pretty insane. We can still hear the clomping around, so that means that beast must be below us. Now let's take a look at the items we just got. I just got to shift in my chair real quick. Let's take a look also at the old Witch's Ring. Engraved minutely with indecipherable script, but seemingly useless, kind of like the One Ring in Lord of the Rings. Except that ring isn't seemingly useless. If you put it on, you go invisible, and much more. Let's take a look at Humanity. Used to gain 1 Humanity, plus greatly restore HP. Rare tiny black sprite found on corpses. Used to gain 1 Humanity and restore a large amount of HP. This black sprite is called Humanity, but little is known about its true nature. If the soul is the source of all life, then what distinguishes the humanity we hold within ourselves? That's a very interesting, philosophical, and deep question you ask of us, Dark Souls. So every living creature in this universe seems to have some sort of soul. But if everything has a soul, what separates humans from other living creatures? It seems to be humanity. This humanity seems to be a tangible, physical representation of human nature. That's pretty cool. We'll see more about this item later on. There's all these vases and vases, I don't know which one you prefer, just take which one you want, scattered around this area. If we roll into them, we can actually destroy them using physics, and we can actually hit them too. A new player might be inclined to destroy all of them to see if there's any items inside. Dark Souls generally doesn't ever hide items inside of vases or inside of boxes. They usually hide items under them. So you'll usually be able to see items glowing underneath the boxes or underneath vases. Oftentimes as well, you will see something clearly inside of a vase, and that will clue to you that something is inside the vase. But if you go about here and you're worried that they might be hiding a secret from you, you can destroy all of these by rolling into them and probably breaking your neck if this is real life. And nothing happens at all. There's no items to be found. Now we've just made a huge mess. Let's look at the Big Pilgrim's Key. And this will explain to you why I think this is an omniscient third-person narrator. Opens inner door of Undead Asylum main hall. Key to the inner door of the Undead Asylum main hall. Big key belonging to a chosen undead pilgrim. But this chosen undead knows not what this pilgrimage has in store. You can see there that last line sort of conveys the fact that the narrator or writer of this description knows what is in store, but we do not. What's interesting is we are considered the chosen undead, which means that this big key belongs to us, and it's called the Big Pilgrim's Key. So we are the Big Pilgrim. Fascinating. Let's open these doors. And there's that area we were looking at from the balcony. Good job. Go straight ahead. Fantastic message, Dark Souls. If we look at out here, we can get a bit of the architecture of this place. Looks like it was inspired by real world architecture, the Roman Basilica, which inspired cathedrals and churches for centuries to come. This place is so old and so destroyed and overgrown that grass has started to grow here, and I guess there's rocks here as well. Maybe this place was always meant to be outside, but who knows? There's a structure over here, and it looks like the land out to the side has just almost fallen off. Given by the fact that this structure looks like it could probably extend outwards that direction and that direction. So, in any game, if you're given a straight path, the player will probably explore and do their best not to take the straight path. So let's not do that. Let's just explore around this area a little bit. Maybe we can figure out a way to get to that staircase and find that item over there. Interesting enough, there's graves here. Now, as an undead, we can't really die, so these graves probably aren't for us. These graves are probably for the staff of the Undead Asylum, the human staff who can die. There's a little bird's nest here. Wonder what that's all about. Probably just an environmental detail. Probably means nothing. More graves over here. All of these graves are old and illegible. Aha! And if we look over here, there's an undead. Very, very dull and grayed out. Very hollow looking. He's got the soul of a lost undead. He's got that thing on his chest, the same thing we do. But he looks dead, which is weird because we know that these undead can't really die. This isn't really ever explained, but it seems like the more hollow you go, the less of a will you have to live, the longer you stay in these dead phases before you revive at the bonfire. So let's get up here. Let's read that item description. Soul of a lost undead who has long ago gone hollow, used to acquire souls. Souls are the source of all life, and whether undead or even hollow, one continues to seek them. So this game is telling us to continue to seek souls. What if we go a little bit further up here? More graves. And we can clearly see that, you know, this is very uneven ground. This plotting looks very, very shallow, very, very thin. The world must have fallen off to the sides here, which is very strange indeed. It's almost surreal. It feels unnatural. You can see that little destroyed area from up here. And we've got more graves up here. There's about 20 or so, maybe 25 graves all in total here. And as we walk over here, the camera pulls back. We can clearly see the environment. We are very high up in the north. And from here, we can also pretty clearly see the Undead Asylum. Alright. It doesn't look like there's any way to, from here, get back to the asylum and get up to that staircase. But since the world fell off, I don't know, maybe the developers are hiding a path over here. I guess not.
Only in the ancient legends it is stated that one day an undead shall be chosen. To leave the Undead Asylum in pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords. Lordran.
In Lordran, level up and kindle at bonfires. Firelink Shrine. We walked up that path because the world was leading us there. The world literally fell off and was leading us there. And once we arrived, a giant crow came to carry us to Lordran, the land of the ancient lords. Only in the ancient legends is it stated that one day an undead, a chosen undead, will make pilgrimage by leaving the Undead Asylum to seek the land of the Ancient Lords. That might be paraphrasing, but that gets the important part out of the way. So, we have left the Undead Asylum and arrived in the land of the Ancient Lords, Lordran. And what a beautiful place Firelink Shrine is. Guys, we will explore Firelink Shrine next time. This has been Fahad Syed from Pixel Icons, signing out. Where the hell is it? Goodbye.